What's up, I'm Blubber, your baking VTuber who loves making VTubers, and today I want to talk about what it's been like being a commissioned Live2D modeler as well as model artist for the last 2 years. I've actually been working on making VTubers longer than that, but I haven't been doing it full-time since like 2 years ago, and I thought it'd be really interesting to talk about because I've learned so many things, and there's a lot of tips that I would give myself if I were to basically start this all over. I think that the most interesting thing for me was finding a middle ground of improving my skills as well as creating a product that I can sell. I wanted to do pixel models because I was like, this is just so new and interesting, and I feel like what's possible with them is like vast, and we haven't even like remotely scratched the surface on what can be done with a pixel model. So I really dug deep into that, and I think a piece of advice that I would give for myself going forward is don't worry so much about your hyperfixations. If anything, play into them more because you will find it way more rewarding. Attempting to do things that you're just doing for the internet points is going to be way more taxing on your mental than just doing something you're already passionate about. I wish that I had fully dived into doing pixel models much sooner. I think it was worth it to take time to learn how to rig a normal VTuber model just so that it could enhance my pixel rigging and I could learn from that perspective, but at the same time, those skills I don't actually use all that much, because when it comes to rigging pixel art, you're not really deforming things as much. You find yourself either deforming stuff in a more like blocky way because it's more reminiscent of like low poly, which people really like, or you're doing things in a more frame animated way, which is not even remotely what you see people doing for normal models. Like, it's interesting, but at the same time, it's like you always have to remember when you're diving deeper into your own little niche skill, you're very much going to find that a lot of the advice or tips or things that people suggest don't really work for you exactly. Like, you have to kind of tweak it a little bit and figure out, okay, well, I might not be able to use this whole skill, but I can use this part of the skill and build on top of that because I've practiced these other things. I wish another thing that I did more was take more notes much sooner. Write down the things you've learned because it actually helps you retain it way better. Even if you wrote down every little Live2D tip that you learned, at some point, you're not going to need to look at the tips anymore, but having written them down, if you do need to go back and look at them, you can. I have this corkboard that I use to put my notes on, and that's where I write down all my little Live2D rigging tips and tricks. For a while, I wanted to rig walking VTuber models. I wanted to break the second dimension, but in a 2D way. And I achieved that and was recognized for it, and that's honestly the coolest thing ever. I think there was a part of me, though, that had lost myself a little bit because I put so much effort into making that be my thing, and it wasn't my thing because, well, if no one's gonna commission the thing, then it's really hard to say, oh, this is what I'm known for, this is what I do. Like, I make VTuber models walk, like, this is some cool shit. But realistically, my favorite thing about working on models is learning new skills, not necessarily making like the coolest, sick, nasty, blah blah blah. Like, that's a fun bonus, sure, but it's not the whole thing. So recently, I've been working on doing like customizable models, things that are expandable, and playing more into that because the reason I came up with small models is I wanted to create this little dress-up model that has the potential to be expanded upon in a very vast way. I think that doing like the walking toggle and like more complex things for single front-facing models, well, I say single front-facing models as in like, what's like the coolest thing I can make for something that isn't going to move? And then I was like, oh, well, how about we just make it move, right? That's where the walking idea came from. And then I did the 3D guns that were super cool. It wasn't until after kind of finding myself again and like, what do I want to do that is gonna make a product that I can sell to people that also allows me to continue learning new skills with Live2D. And so that's when I was like, what if I just make outfits that I can easily add to models? And that's it. Like, that's the whole thing. Play more into the dress up thing that I originally made these models for, and then people can just get an outfit. So in February, I plan on launching like a customizable maid outfit that I've been working on with my friend Monkey. It's been so much fun. It's so much fun talking about dress up with her. Like, I love it so much. Another thing that I wish I had told myself about sooner is do not be afraid to hang out with friends while you work. you're just gonna start feeling like you're isolated and you're alone and there's no one to talk to ever. That feeling was something I felt very strongly when I first started rigging, and it wasn't easy to get out of because I wanted to stream, but then I told myself, well, if I stream, I work so inefficiently that it's not worth it, and I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again because I'm doing commissions, and it's the same kind of commission over and over and over again. So it's not a surprise. Nobody's fucking surprised that I'm literally drawing small model 362, which I'm not there yet, but whoever ends up being small model 362, mwah, love you. But it was starting to feel repetitive to me, and I'm like, well, there's no way that that's like interesting for an audience to watch. I was wrong. It's not that it's not interesting for an audience to watch, it's that it gives my audience and community and all of you guys a chance to connect with me live rather than just like tweets and stuff like that, which, let's be honest, I don't even like using Twitter anyway. So next tip for myself, if you don't feel like using Twitter, don't use Twitter. You don't need to. It's not required. There is no thing that says if you want to be a successful blah blah blah, you have to use XYZ social media. You do not. You do not. You literally just need to find a way to start getting commissions. You could literally get commissions through word of mouth on Discord by just sharing your work in freaking Discord servers, meeting people that way, networking. I want to spend more time with friends and like organize more things with friends. You start to feel very isolated if you isolate yourself. You have to put yourself out there to break that feeling of isolation. I mean, obviously there's other things you can do, like go out, touch grass, as they say, but I don't want to touch grass. And there's snow right now, so there's no grass to touch anyway. It's just a lot of cold. I think that having other people around to bounce ideas off of and just like overall increase your overall positivity throughout your day is like super helpful. Especially because then it's like, sometimes you get to a point with work where you're like, I feel like whatever I'm working on is straight garbage. And then you like show your friend what like some of the stuff you've been working on, and they're like, whoa, have I told you that this is like really cool? And it just like fills your heart with like butterflies, and it's just like, oh my goodness. I love it so much, but it just like warms my heart. So yeah. Not saying, get friends so they can be impressed by you, because that's all that matters. Like, no, that's not all that matters. What matters is that you are balancing like a healthy work life, everything. And like feeling creatively fulfilled, feeling socially fulfilled, and also monetarily fulfilled. Like that was a tough one for me. Like increasing my prices to a point where I could actually like live off of them now was very scary, because it was like I have to increase it to live, but also the more I increase it, the less people are able to commission me, and then it makes me feel bad because I always wanted to be like an affordable option for people, but like affordable don't pay the bills, okay? It doesn't. Sometimes it does, but it mostly doesn't. But it's all like a fine little dance you have to play with yourself, and I think that I am proud of myself for having done it, because it's really challenging and very, very rewarding if you're able to stick through it. We can do anything that we want if we stick to it long enough, and I wholeheartedly believe that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that your 2025 is fan-frickin-tastic, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!